Oops, sorry about that. We're just gonna wait for Kamya to join us again. How's everyone doing? Like, what's everyone planning for the weekend? It's Friday. It's Friday. So has anyone planned anything for the weekend? Let us know. And also, like, if you have any questions for Kamya, just remember to just like send in your questions, and there's a question tag right there. So just add your questions there. Okay, Kamya here, and we are back again.
Hi.
Hello.
I guess it froze again. I don't know if it is the image thing that you had, because when we were speaking normally, I think the connection was fine. But I don't know.
Yeah, probably it was like the connection or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
When do you get back on travel to traveling, by the way?
Yeah, so I hope to start traveling again by August or September.
Wow.
Still taking the time to enjoy the Indian monsoon.
Have you started planning for it already?
No, not really. I do tend to make a trip to the mountains, so towards Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand around like September, October, November time. Um, and so yeah, I tend to just like go there and then stay for like a month or something like that.
Okay, like what's the favorite place? Like the mountains. I also really like the mountains. So, what's the favorite one
Yeah.
you've been to?
It's a really difficult question because I feel all the places I visited have been so amazing. But again, the most frequently visited place for me is definitely Parvati Valley. Just because like I've been to like so many small villages in the valley.
Oh wow,
Oh, it's
sorry
back.
about that again.
It's okay.
Are you like? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, cool. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing if you were given a choice to choose between mountains and beaches, it would be.
Um, I would say the ocean, just because I've
Oh,
become so used to living on islands,
yeah.
that just having the ocean nearby is so therapeutic. But
Mm,
I do really love the mountains, like hiking and living
mm,
with villages and stuff.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
what's the favorite place, like, of all the places that you've traveled to? What is the one place that you really, really love? Like, you had like a personal connection with instantly when you went there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, so many places. One of the strongest so far has been Peru.
Mm.
From the minute I got there, I landed in Iquitos, which is the largest village that is not reachable by road,
Wow.
town or such, and it's basically an entry point into the Amazon rainforest. And
Mm.
before I went there, I heard that it was going to be like very touristy and a
Yeah.
lot of people, but I felt this very very like peaceful feeling,
Mm.
and just like and then I immediately went into a trip inside the jungle.
Yeah.
And you might want to like hide some of these trolls from the chat.
Yeah.
You can just put hide from live video or something. um so yeah, and it went very deep inside the jungle, and I felt this really kind of ancient connection with the land there,
Mm.
the nature, and I just experienced so much transformation both in the jungle and in the Andes, that it's yeah, I definitely feel like it's a past life connection, somewhere that I've traveled to probably before.
Yeah. I've seen like your pictures, they're like really stunning. Like how do you get these
Thank you.
pictures taken like all the time, like from the angles that you
Yeah.
get? It's like really lovely.
Thank you. Yeah. So, a lot of different ways. When I
Hmm.
started out, it was mostly strangers. So I
Yeah.
started out with my phone, and most of my pictures in the beginning were like from like me standing in like the landscape, and I was very small.
Yeah.
But as I started creating more content where I was more in the frame,
Hmm.
I also purchased a camera back in 2017, and I got myself a tripod. So
Hmm.
it was easy for me to connect my phone to my tripod
Yeah.
and take pictures of myself or take pictures
Hmm.
of nature and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, because after a certain point, it was kind of difficult for me to ask random people to help
Yeah.
me take pictures. But the good thing is when I'm traveling, if I do have a companion at the time, or
Hmm.
I do have some friends that I've made, then I tend to
Hmm.
collaborate with people,
Hmm.
and that works well as well.
Okay, so there's this segment where we just like play a random game with the person that we're going live with, and we will be
Yeah.
playing like Would You Rather, the game Would You Rather. So that's
Okay.
what we're gonna be playing with you today. We have a few questions.
Yeah.
We have a few choices that you're gonna pick from, and you have 90 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Either we run out of questions or you run out of time. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
In the meantime, for those who are viewing the live stream right now, if you have any questions for Kamya, just leave it in the question tag below
So,
right there. You can see it in the bottom.
can we put a
So
comment and pin it?
just
Uh,
leave a question for Kamya in a question tag below. Yeah, there was a pretty interesting question that I saw, and yeah, I have it like it was a couple of live streams before, but then it was a pretty
yeah.
interesting question. So we're just gonna start the game now. It's just a 90
Sure.
sec. You have only 90 seconds. So that's the thing that we're gonna be using. So
Okay.
I hope you're
This
ready.
is so cool. I love it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is, would you rather have hot dog in New York or vada pav in Mumbai?
Definitely vada pav. Firstly, because I'm vegetarian, and I love Indian snacks. I love
Hmm.
vada pav. So,
So
but it's not spicy.
New Year's Eve in Times Square or Tomorrowland in Belgium?
Mm, I would say New Year's Eve
Hmm.
because I'm not a fan of Tomorrowland.
Hmm.
I'm more into Psytrance festivals,
Hmm.
and I'm sure I would find so many different things to do in New York. So I would probably go with the first
Okay.
one.
So would you swim across the English Channel or scale Mount Everest?
Scale Mount Everest, 100%, because I love mountains. I want to do Everest Base Camp one day, but let's see.
So wake up to the views of the Himalayas or enjoy a sunset in Santorini?
Himalayas, for sure, always.
What about Durga Puja in Kolkata or Holi in Pushkar?
Durga Puja.
Okay. Okay, so that's the end of the game round. You have answered 4 questions. Congratulations. In the meantime, like we're just gonna move on to the part where you answer a few questions asked by our followers and the people who are watching this live stream right now.
Okay.
So
Do
one of
you
the
want to
questions
just
that
type in a Do you want to just type in a comment and then pin it? Like ask
yeah, sure,
questions or
sure.
something.
I was just gonna post and comment. Okay, so there was this question that that somebody had asked. I'm not sure who asked this question, but it was a really good question. And I know you're into like the spirituality and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
there was this guy who asked like, when was it that you started getting into all this spiritual, journey and
Right.
stuff like that?
Yeah. So for me personally, I started my, you can call it, spiritual journey in 2011. I
Hmm.
had a very spontaneous awakening experience on, I think it was January the 4th,
Hmm.
2011. And previously I was suffering from, and so I feel this is actually characteristic to a lot of people that go through spiritual awakenings. And in this way, the pandemic experience has been like an awakening for so
Hmm.
many people because of this.
Yeah.
You know, shadow work essentially. And I was going through a really difficult period, clinical depression. I was very disconnected, disaligned from my spirit, very materialistic, and I had completely lost my way as a
Hmm.
soul, and I was identifying with all the wrong things.
Hmm.
And so, my soul just like one day suddenly just decided to wake up and say, okay, that's enough. And over the period of that time, I started to understand a lot more about alternative medicine, about healing, different
Hmm.
meditation practices. And I
Yeah.
met a Guruji in Bangalore who
Hmm.
I'm still in contact with regularly.
Hmm.
And I stayed there for about 7 months. And so
Wow.
during that period, I started to essentially, I feel like the experience of awakening
Hmm.
is not so much about like just having a wild experience, or like
Hmm.
opening your third eye, or suddenly having extrasensory perception,
Yeah.
which are things that I was like really really interested in before. I mean, and those are just kind of like enhancing your intuition stuff, are just kind of byproducts. I feel that
Yeah.
it's more to do with healing.
Hmm.
For me, that is the main work when it comes to the spiritual path, because
Hmm.
essentially the idea is that we are already awakened,
Hmm.
right? So how they describe in the, say, Bhagavad Gita, or even in Buddhism, we are enlightened, we are spiritual beings. None of us is um, non-spiritual, but because of society, because of conditioning and trauma,
Hmm.
we start to become further and further detached from our spiritual nature, which is
Yeah.
love, it is power, it is connection, unity, intuition.
Hmm.
And so that this is it for me, really is. And I'm working on it every day, and I will be for the rest of my life.
Hmm. So we have a question here from Priyam Bora. She just wants to know how he just wants to know how you're holding up during the lockdown.
Yeah. Lockdown for me started off really well. It was um, lockdown started for me really well. During the first couple of weeks, I had a lot of enthusiasm because I finally got to like stay somewhere for a long period of time. And normally
Hmm.
I'm traveling, so I never really get that time to just sit. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to finish my videos for about 2 years now. So but after a period of time, I think for most of us, it gets really claustrophobic, and also just
Hmm.
the isolation and being indoors has been really
Hmm.
difficult for me.
Hmm.
um but I'm really happy that things are starting to open up. I've been taking walks,
Yeah.
been getting a little bit of exercise, so it's
Hmm.
it's been getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to stay active, because there's just a lot of stuff going on. Like the lockdown has
Yeah.
made everyone like really depressed and not in a good place.
Yeah, you're right. And I feel like, a lot of the time on social media, a lot of creators are very
Hmm.
kind of interested in just like, how will I keep up sharing my original content, but this is not an ordinary experience.
Hmm.
It is something where we do, for, everyone, I think, has struggled with this on some level. So
Yeah.
um yeah, no, I thank you for highlighting that.
We have a question here from Suchi Shah. Where are you planning to go next?
Where am I planning to go next? I'm going to be heading to Bali, most likely. I had planned to go there during this time, but seeing as the lockdown happened, I couldn't. And yeah, I really need to go somewhere with an ocean,
You're just
pretty
dreaming
much.
about the ocean.
Yeah, now and
Um,
then.
yeah. And again, we have Priyambora asking, how did it affect your nomadic life?
Yeah, so in a way, this is an interesting question because, in a way, when we think of a nomad, we think about someone who is like, doesn't have a home, right? Who doesn't have a
Yeah,
physical home and is
yeah.
traveling. And so, as a nomad for 4 years, I actually underestimated how difficult it would be for me internally,
Mm,
to be in quote unquote quarantine.
yeah.
And in a sense, breaking through that has given me a higher understanding of my nomadism, quote unquote. Um, because in a sense, the home is here, the home is
Mm,
within me. And I was sitting in the bench the other day
mm,
outside, and I was like, damn, I was like doing all these things, and I was traveling, and then there's just like this feeling or this voice in my head, which is like, no, but the home is where I am. It's where I
mm,
am in my experience. And so in a way,
mm,
it's also been a nice kind of homecoming for me to help me truly embody the spirit of nomadic life, which is being at home wherever the fuck you are.
mm. So, where are you right now, by the way?
I'm actually in Ahmedabad, funnily
Okay.
enough.
Oh, wow, same
Yeah.
days. um, we have another question here by Instajish. He wants to know if you've been to Dubai.
Yeah, I have been to Dubai on, I think it's flight transitions, but I've never visited Dubai. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I've seen a lot of beautiful photographs.
Mm,
But for me, I'm a lot more attracted to kind of nature
mm,
and kind of like ancient places.
yeah.
So with the limited time I have, I tend to focus on that.
There are a
But maybe
lot
one.
of yeah, there are a lot of people who have a lot of questions for you. Here, like there's Pooja asking, do you think the current situation will bring changes to your travel life?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. Yeah, I think for sure it's gonna change. Yeah, for sure. I think it's on a number of levels. I think the
Mm,
first level is that, I was always kind of environmentally conscious in the sense that I would be conscious about what I'm consuming and,
mm,
especially with my food and stuff. But I've kind of like, it's kind of hit me on a much deeper level, to the
mm,
point where I'm now going to think about every single thing I buy. Like before I walk
yeah.
into Zara, before I buy a pair of Vans,
Mm,
I just threw away the pair of Vans that I had, because just this, it's just undeniable the fact that we have a huge impact on the earth.
mm,
And so it's gone really deep inside me that, every small action that we take makes a difference. So the way I travel is definitely going to change in terms of the things that I consume.
mm,
And secondly, I'm going to be traveling a lot more slower.
mm,
So I've already started slowing down in the past 2 years. I've been staying
mm,
in one place for like 1 month, 2 months,
yeah.
and then moving, but being even more slower. So, like maybe just like renting a place, cooking my
Mm,
own food and stuff like that.
yeah, just doing what you can to give back to the environment again.
Yeah, and also just like, yeah, just giving myself more time, because, of
Mm,
course, after this experience, we don't know what the situation is going to be with flights coming in and out. Like before, it was really quick. We could just book flights and fly to Tokyo, fly anywhere. But now it's different. It's going to be a lot more kind of intentful, purposeful,
mm.
and just more slow. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just be taking two more questions. There's just a lot of people wanting to know a lot of stuff. I think this is a question that a lot of people who are, just starting out as travel bloggers and, have
Yeah.
to ask. This is from Meher Tara asking, do you have any tips for people who want to have a travel career and how do they begin to monetize their travels?
Interesting question. Yeah. So this is a really growing area. A lot of people are doing this these days.
Yeah.
So I let me just think about. Yeah, so there's a number of ways that you can. So what you're describing is essentially is someone who's a digital nomad like myself. So a digital nomad is someone who makes money from their laptop, or they can do this in a number of ways. They can work with agencies, or they can find clients, or they can do that through content creation or social media. From what I've learned and what I've experienced, social media is a small part of that. A lot of people, when you think of someone who's like a travel blogger, they think that, okay, they just like directly make money from their blog, but there's a lot of other components to it. There's like affiliate marketing. Most people who actually have a travel blog make money from a website. So they'll do like Google AdSense, and sponsored posts and stuff like that, and the same with Instagram. But I would say from my experience, if I was going to start from now, I wouldn't actually do that. I would create a social media page around a business that I want to run, that is based on a skill set that I have or that I want to develop, or a product that I've created, like a digital product, for example. A lot of people doing, if you're interested in this, you should look into sales funnels. So, a lot of people building content and then monetizing that in a number of different ways, like through books, courses, videos, so many different things.
I'm sure that will help out a lot of people who are, trying to get into the career, like just the whole life of being a traveler and earning from that.
Yeah. And places like Bali, for example, are really good to connect with people who are doing this, because like there are certain places in the world, like Chiang Mai in Thailand, even places in Europe, even I think Barcelona, Lisbon, Canggu in Bali, like pretty much there's like so many digital nomads there. So for me personally, just like connecting with a lot of people in the community has given me a lot of insight on the things that you can do to become a digital nomad.
Yeah, it's just really important to connect with communities when you travel.
Yeah, definitely.
We have the last question here, and I think this is going to be a bit interesting for you to answer. It's Issue Say who's asking which place is good to travel to for inner peace.
For inner peace, right. I mean, I would think about what is it that your soul wants, right? When we think about peace, we're not talking about a peaceful place outside per se. We're talking about a place inside that your soul wants to connect with. For me personally, when I am in need of healing and I've gone through a lot of trauma in life, or I need to just disconnect, I tend to go in nature, because nature has the highest life force frequency. And it's nature is love, essentially. So, but at the same time, there have been times in my life where I feel, I need to be, I want to go to like somewhere in Europe, and like go to a big city. And at that point in time, that brings me inner peace, because it's what I need at that point. I need the dynamism, I need the energy. But I think for most people, it's the opposite. They want to go to the mountains. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this brings us to the end of the session. We're just gonna ask you to leave like a positive message for people who really like are looking forward to traveling when things get better.
Sure. I'll just quickly if you guys have any other questions, you can drop them to me in a DM, and I can answer them in my story. Just what are your actual skills? There's a lot of different skills to talk about. What can this be a good profession? Yeah, I think as long as it's strategic and you know what you're aiming for, you know what your niche is, it can be. Yeah. So thank you so much. And it's so nice talking to you. What shall I say?
Yeah, I mean, people have been like, ever since the lockdown, people are just like dying to travel. It's like they feel stuck, so and like trapped, and they're just wanting to go back out there when once things get better. And for those kind of people, would you just like leave like a short message, just like something about what you're feeling, because I'm sure you feel the same way as well. I know I do.
Yeah, I think for me, a big lesson from this pandemic has been taking it slow. So always try, as hard as it gets, just focusing a lot on the present moment. And I feel a lot of the suffering that we've had so far in life has been about chasing the next experience. It has been about chasing the next, whatever it is that we want, whether it's our career, or for me, it's been travel, or it's been people. And what I want to say is that we can all make travel a lot more of a conscious and fulfilling experience if we take those lessons into our traveling. Yeah, really being mindful, um, and self-love and being kind to ourselves. I feel, during this lockdown, a lot of us have realized that we've been way too hard on ourselves, pressuring ourselves to do a lot of work, or we're putting ourselves down for feeling depressed, which is absolutely normal. And so yeah, for the people that are looking to head back into travel again, which I am too, a lot of it is going to be integrating this experience, and for that I'm going to have to take it slow. And I'm pretty sure that my experience of travel is going to be very different after this. So much more appreciative of every moment. A lot of the time,
True.
travel goes by really quick. You
Yeah.
spend 3 months in nowhere, and then you. But it's not going to be like that this time, I feel. And I think that's going to be a conscious effort on our part to say, I'm really gonna make the most of this. I'm gonna cherish this, and act from a place from my heart, not for other people, but for myself.
Yeah. That's so inspiring. Well, thank you for joining us today. We had a whole. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Awesome.
And I
Yeah,
really
me
hope
too.
we can go back to traveling again, like really soon. Like really,
Yeah,
really
I think
soon.
international flights are going to be opening maybe in a month.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be first just maybe going somewhere in India, like maybe close by during the monsoons, near in
Yeah.
Gujarat, like some hill station or something.
Mm.
And then I have a feeling it's going to be traveling in around September.
Mm. Okay, well, thanks once again
Yeah.
for being with us. And
Yeah,
for
thank
those,
you.
yeah, and for those who are here, I would just like to say, tune in
Yeah.
next Friday again for our next episode of Let's Talk Travel. Bye, everyone. Good night. Hi. Bye.
Awesome. Yeah. Bye.
Uh, just gonna this.